So in this 26th class of transport phenomena, we will study the Fourier equation in 3-dimension Cartesian coordinate. 3-dimensional Cartesian coordinates. Basically, this is nothing but it is an extension of Fourier law of heat conduction to 3 dimensions. Basically, this Fourier law of heat conduction, that the heat flux is directly proportional to the temperature gradient and the area perpendicular to the heat flow. This is basically the Fourier law. When we extend this Fourier law to 3 dimensions, either in the Cartesian coordinate system, that is the x, y, z, or the spherical polar coordinate r, theta, phi, or the cylindrical polar coordinate r, theta, z, then this is called the Fourier equation for 3 dimensions. In today's class, we will see that how the extension of this Fourier equation to the 3-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system can be made. So, in order to formulate this Fourier equation for 3-dimensional Cartesian coordinate, let us suppose this is our Cartesian coordinate system. Let it be x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, which is perpendicular to the plane containing x and y, and in this, with reference to this coordinate system, let us consider a parallelepiped having dx, dy, dz as respective quarter minus edge length. So let us construct this parallelepiped first. So this is our parallelepiped over which we will extend this Fourier law for 3-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system. These are the 3 quarter minus edge lengths. This is along the x-axis, that is, let it be dx, along the y-axis, let it be equal to dy, and along the z-axis, let it be equal to dz. This is the parallelepiped on which we will formulate this Fourier equation. Now consider about 2 points with respect to this volume element. Let P is a point having coordinate x, y, z. Let us suppose another point, this is a Q. This is the Q having a coordinate x plus delta x. So better to write here delta x, delta y, delta z. This is delta x, this is delta y, so that there should not be confusion in the sign. So this point has the coordinate q, x plus delta x, y plus delta y, z plus delta z. So let us proceed towards the extended Fourier equation now. So let us consider a volume element with respect to 3 mutually perpendicular Cartesian axes, 3 mutually perpendicular Cartesian axes, excesses with delta x, delta y, delta z as quarter minus edge length, as quarter minus edge lengths along x, y, z axes respectively. Okay, this is all about the description of the construction of the diagram that we have chosen for Fourier equation extension. Now let us define these 2 points, that is the P x y z and Q x plus delta x, y plus delta y and z plus delta z. Now if you visualize this point P x y z, then it is meeting point of the 3 surfaces, this one, this one, this surface and this surface. Now if anybody asks you that how can you characterize this point P x y z, then it can be said here that this is the meeting point of these 3 faces, 1, this is your second, third. Now see this face, this is the face which is receiving the heat energy along the positive x direction. If I am talking about this plane, then this is the surface through which heat is being received along the y direction and along the z direction, and this is the surface through which heat energy is being received by this volume element along this y axis. So we can write here that the Pxyz is the meeting point of all the faces through which heat energy enters the volume element. Okay. In a similar manner, we can say that the Qxyz is the meeting point of all these phases through which heat energy is being received or is being transmitted from this volume element. So the definition of the point Q x plus delta x, y plus delta y, z plus delta z is the meeting point of phases through which heat energy leaves the volume element. You can see here. Now Q is the meeting point of this surface which stands responsible for relieving of the heat energy along the y-axis. Secondly, this is the meeting point. This face is also meeting at here. So this surface, through this surface, the heat energy is being released from the volume element along the y-axis, and this is also this meeting point. This is the meeting surface through which heat energy is being received or released from this volume element along the positive z direction. Apart from this, the basic assumption assumption which needs to be made here for an energy balance. Assumption is the heat is the only form of energy. Heat is the only form of energy which is being exchanged by the volume element under consideration, by the volume element under consideration. What does it mean? The important point which is underlying the assumption is that you need not to consider the work done by the system, work done on the system you need not consider here. Rather, you have to only balance the heat flow in, heat flow out, or if any reaction, if any chemical reaction or any physical process that is going on inside this volume element. So, for that also you have to consider that only part of the energy which is generated as a heat energy. In the form of, if an energy is being considered in the form of generation of light energy, you need not consider here in this Fourier heat conduction equation. So, this is our description of this volume element. These are the description of the two specific points P and Q, and this is the assumption that we have made in order to derive this Fourier heat conduction equation. Now come to the derivation part. Let us come to the derivation part now. Keeping this diagram intact, you now proceed for the derivation. So, what should be the principle underlying this derivation? Principle is, if any physical process or chemical reaction leading to heat evolution or absorption, is taking place inside the present volume element, then principle of conservation, of energy, for the present case can be given as how it can be given? Rate of heat energy flowing in the volume element minus rate of heat energy flowing out from the volume element, that should be equal to rate of change of heat energy in the volume element minus the heat energy produced due to reaction per unit time. So, this is the basic principle on which this Fourier law heat conduction equation is based. So, that can be given as rate of heat flow in, that is through the phases which are meeting at the point P, minus rate of heat energy, you can say rate of heat energy flowing in, rate of heat energy leaving out, that should be equal to rate of change of energy, sorry, the rate of change of heat, the rate of change of heat energy in the volume element, okay, minus rate of heat production due to the reaction, This is the basic principle on which this Fourier law in the 3 dimension is based. Now let us try to evaluate the value for the term in the different parentheses here, the equation number 1. So let now come to the derivation part. Let Qx is the amount of heat energy flowing in or out with respect to the volume element, along x-axis, and similarly Qy is the amount of heat flowing in out with respect to the volume element, that is along y-axis, and Qz, that is along z-axis. So how Qx can be written? So Qx can be written as, applying the Fourier heat conduction equation into 1 dimension. Now prior to that, let us assume that the thermal conductivity of the material from which this volume element has been made is not isotropic in nature. What does isotropy mean? Isotropy means the equality of any property along the 3 mutually perpendicular axes is called the isotropy. At the beginning, I am assumed that the material is anisotropic in nature, and henceforth the thermal conductivity of the material of the volume element along the 3 Cartesian axes x, y, z are not equal. So if that is our assumption at this stage now, then the Qx can be written as minus Kx, that is the thermal conductivity along the x-axis, because the heat energy is flowing along the x-axis, so the area perpendicular to that will be yz plane, that is the area of the yz plane. So Qx is equal to minus Kx delta y delta z into the temperature gradient along the x-axis at the point x is equal to x. Let it be question number 2. Similarly, Qy that is equal to minus Ky delta x delta z delta t by delta y at y is equal to y. Equation number 3. Similarly, Qz is equal to minus Kz delta x delta y delta t by delta z at the value z is equal to z. Right? This is for the heat energy flowing in. Similarly, we can write Qx plus delta x, that is the amount of heat energy flowing from this volume element along the x-axis, that is the Qx plus delta x, that should be equal to minus Kx into delta y delta z delta t by delta x at the value x is equal to x plus delta x. Let it be equation number 5. Similarly, Qy plus delta y that is equal to minus Ky delta x delta z delta t by delta y at the value y is equal to y plus delta y. Let it be equation number 6. And similarly, Qz plus delta z is equal to minus Kz delta x delta y delta t by delta z at the value z is equal to z plus delta z. Let it be equation number 7. Okay. Now, here you should write the Kx, Ky, Kz is the thermal conductivity of material of volume element along x, y, z axes respectively. So far as the first two parentheses of the equation number 1 is concerned, we have arrived at the quantities which are necessary for filling up the value of all this quantity as included in the first two parentheses of the equation number 1, which are lying at the left hand side of the equation number 1. Now let rho and Cp, are the density and specific heat capacity of the material of the volume element then amount of heat retained in the volume element, then the amount of heat retained in the volume element per minute time that should be equal to how much? Delta Q by delta T, rate of change of heat energy, because I am considering the volume elements, so this needs to be multiplied with the volume of the volume element. So how much that will be equal to? So delta Q by delta T into the volume of the volume element delta x, delta y, delta z. So how this quantity delta Q by delta T can be defined? This quantity that will be written as mass into specific heat So if the rho into Cp into temperature difference, that is the day by T because Q is equal to rho into Cp into T. So rho Cp, the constant quantity, temperature is only varying, so day by T into day by X, day by Y, day by Z. Let it be question number 8. And let QR dot is the rate of heat production due to reaction. Let it be question number 9. Now putting all those equations, that is equation number 2 to 9 in the equation number 1. So putting equations 2 to 9 in equation number 1, we can write minus kx delta y delta z this rate of heat flow in minus rate of heat flow out, so that will be minus plus kx delta y delta z day by t by day by x at the value x plus delta x plus ky delta x delta z day by t by day by y at y plus delta y plus kz delta x delta y and the temperature gradient along the z axis at the value z is equal to z plus delta z. So all the quantity including the first parenthesis minus all the quantity in the second parenthesis, that's why this comes plus. That should be equal to rate of change of heat in the volume element, this minus QR, that is the rate of heat production due to the reaction, or you can write QR dot also, that doesn't matter, omit that too, because I have assumed that the Q is the amount of heat energy flowing per unit time along the x-axis, so better to say dot should be removed. So minus QR, okay. So we can write kx delta y delta z after rearranging the terms, you can write in this manner, plus ky delta x delta z common this plus kz delta x delta y this, that should be equal to right hand side Now if you divide the whole expression by delta x, delta y, delta z, then what you are finding? So we can write here kx upon delta x this quantity, okay, plus ky by delta y this plus kz upon delta z this quantity, that should be equal to rho Cp delta t upon delta t minus Qr divided by delta x, delta y, delta z. So now from here we will proceed from this equation, that is the equation number 10. Let it be equation number 10. We will proceed from the equation number 10 now. So keep this equation and the rest can be removed. Now take the limit. Now take the limit here. Now taking the limit. Now taking the limits. Taking the limits, delta x tends to 0, delta y tends to 0 and delta z tends to 0. Equation number 10 can be reframed as this quantity function x plus delta x minus function x divided by delta x tends to 0. So the first principle of the differential coefficient is saying here that this quantity should be equal to kx, because kx, that is the thermal conductivity, a component of the thermal conductivity around the x axis, that may be regarded as a fixed quantity. If I am assuming that the thermal conductivity is not varying with respect to temperature, then kx, that quantity will be equal to kx into delta by delta x, delta t by delta x. So this quantity can be written, this equation can be written as kx delta by delta x, delta t by delta x plus ky delta by delta y, delta t by delta y plus kz delta by delta z, delta t by delta z. That should be equal to rho Cp delta t by delta t into Qr divided by delta x, delta y, delta z. Let this quantity be equal to sigma. Let this quantity be equal to sigma, another variable. So, or we can write this equation further as, since here you can see this is the partial differential around the x axis of a quantity, that is of a quantity temperature, the variation of a temperature with respect to x axis only. So we are considering the x direction only. So if the only one direction is there, for that direction itself, the partial derivative and the normal derivative can be treated as equal. So it can be written as, for the time being, kx delta 2 by delta x2 plus ky d by t2 by d by y2 plus kz d by 2t by d by z2, that should be equal to rho cp d by t minus sigma. Now assuming the isotropy of the material of the volume element, with respect to its thermal conductivity, that is assuming that the kx is equal to ky equal to kz equal to k lit, then this equation can be written as k d2t by dx2 plus d by 2t by d by y2 plus d by 2t by d by z2, that should be equal to rho cp d by t minus sigma. Dividing the whole expression by the quantity rho cp, dividing the whole quantity by rho cp, or we can write k by rho cp that should be equal to this quantity, this equation. This k by rho cp, what is that quantity called? This is called thermal diffusivity alpha, or alpha, this quantity can be written as del square t, that should be equal to d by t upon d by t minus sigma by rho cp. So the equation, the Fourier heat conduction in the 3 dimension can be written as d by t, that should be equal to alpha del square t plus sigma by rho cp. This equation number 11, this is called your Fourier heat conduction equation extended to 3 dimension. So far as this Fourier equation in the spherical polar coordinate, so far the Fourier equation in the 3-dimensional spherical coordinate is concerned. In spherical polar coordinates, that is the r, theta, phi, this equation can be given as This equation can be given as 1 by r square deva by deva r square deva t by deva r plus 1 by r square sin theta deva by deva theta sin theta deva t by deva theta plus 1 by r square sin square theta deva t deva 2t by deva phi 2 plus q upon k, that should be equal to 1 by alpha deva t by deva 2. This is in the spherical polar coordinate. In cylindrical polar coordinate, that is r theta z, in cylindrical polar coordinates. In the next class we will require the cylindrical polar coordinate equation. So here you can see the spherical polar coordinate. This is along the, this is the r component along the r axis, this is along the theta axis, this is along the phi axis, and this rest quantity is similar to as equation number 11. Similarly, in the cylindrical polar coordinate, that is the r theta z, the equation is delta 2t by delta r2 plus 1 by r delta t upon delta r plus 1 by r square delta 2t by delta theta 2 plus delta 2t by delta z2 plus q by k, that is equal to 1 upon alpha delta t by delta t. Let it be question number 13. Now the revisiting equation number 11, revisiting equation number 11, if the special cases of the equation number 11, special cases, number 1, no reaction is going on inside the volume element. What will happen? The sigma is equal to 0, then the shape of the Fourier heat conduction equation will be delta t upon delta t, that is rate of change of temperature with respect to time, that is equal to alpha del square t. Number 2, if no reaction is there going on and the steady state condition is there, then for steady state condition what is required? That means in full equilibrium, a complete equilibrium has been established. So this quantity will be equal to 0. Then, so for the steady state condition, alpha del square t is equal to 0. Because of the fact that the alpha, that is the thermal diffusivity, cannot be equal to 0, so the form of the equation is del square t is equal to 0, that is delta 2t by delta x2 plus delta 2t by delta by 2 plus delta 2t by delta z2 is equal to 0. When you consider this equation for the 2 dimension in the steady state, then the form of the equation is keeping from this delta 2t by delta x2 plus delta 2t by delta y2 equal to 0. This equation is called Laplace equation. In the coming classes, we will study this Laplace equation and we will try to understand what are the different methodology as there in order to solve the Laplace equation, that is the steady state heat conduction equation in the 2 dimension. In the next class, we will see some application of the Fourier equation along these 3 mutually perpendicular Cartesian axes or the cylindrical polar coordinate or the spherical polar coordinates, and we will try to discuss some special cases which have some practical importances with respect to the furnace design, with respect to the study of heat transfer in the different types of furnaces. Thank you.